Hi, this is Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to paint this hay rake that we discussed last week into a rusty or semi-rusty piece. What it is a piece that would be probably painted about 10 years ago. It's a good old vintage rake from the late 1800s and it's been painted probably many times in real life, and that is the look we're going to achieve. Of course, this will work on anything, model cars, whatever you want to work on, but we're specifically talking about this hay rake. Let's get started. Before starting painting, make sure everything is clean. Here I have some resin wheels, printed 3D wheels, and a seat. I have brass, I have steel, and I have aluminum wire. So everything needs to be cleaned. Metal should be cleaned with an isopropyl alcohol. You can just use soap and water and a toothbrush on everything afterwards, but make sure it's clean and then take it and prime it. Now make sure your primer is going to work with what you're using, as this is mainly metal. I am using a metal antioxidant primer and I'm using it in the brown because it's closest to the rust. You don't want to prime in any other color like a white or a black, so use as close to rust as you can with your primer. When working with primer, you should do it outside or in a well-ventilated area, and make sure you shake it for at least a minute. If you don't shake primer well, it will not set properly. The more you shake it, the better and faster it will set. Let your primer dry thoroughly, and I have all these pieces. And when I was doing small pieces like this, I will stick something through that so that I can paint it, and that'll just go like this, and then I can just put it upside down and let that dry. Now for this next step, I'm using spray cans again, not acrylics, but still spray cans. The next step, like when we do the actual color, it'll be using acrylics. So pick up whatever rust colors you want, and I'll show you what is available for that. So here are two examples of rust, and this is a close-up picture here, and this is a similar tractor piece that we are building or painting in this sample. And I use the color picker on my phone, and these are the different colors that are in here, and this is a good way to see what something is made up of. So these are the colors basically of rust. You could pick 2, 3, or even just one color, and then you're just going to intermittently burst spray it all over the piece to kind of make it look like a little bit of orange here, a little bit of dark gray, maybe a little bit of, I'm using a burgundy, even though that's not a normal color, because I find it really gives it a nice pop. So what I'm going to do is just do little bits of color here and there, take different colors, and just splotch it on until it starts to look rusty. Kind of like that. And here it is after I've used a couple colors and just blasted. And you can see it's just kind of random. Now, if you are going to just leave more rust, then you may want to take a little more time with that. But I'm going to put a lot of the natural color on top. So I want little areas to be just slightly different. To be able to paint acrylic over the spray paint, we are going to need to use a Testors Dull Coat, this stuff right here. And that will seal what we have and allow us to use acrylic over top. For the acrylic, anything will do. This is just very inexpensive paint, and I'm using the colors that work on a John Deere because that's the colors I want to do. And in John Deere, the tractor or rake is going to be green, the wheels are going to be yellow. Now at this point we've primed it. I've put on some oranges and reds to give it a undertone, and I've used some Testors Dull Coat. So that means now if I make a mistake with my acrylics, I can wipe them off, carefully of course. So now I'm going to take the colors that I want. For this piece is going to be green and the wheels are going to be yellow. And what I want to do is keep a lot of this tone in here and just slowly build up color on top of this. So what you need is a dry brush type of brush. This is fairly soft, and some just basic acrylic paint. And I've got some towels here. And what I want to do is just with a very dry brush, stroke it where I want the color to be. And I'm going to build this up slowly. And I'm just going to work on this, and I'm not dabbing it, I'm dragging it. And in some areas you may not want to put any color at all. and this will build up over layers. So maybe I want to leave that rusty and some rust poking through here, but I'm just going to work the color on all the metal. While you're painting this, what you have to remember is this whole piece used to be this color. So if you keep building this up, you want areas where that color has faded out, where it's rusted, and we're slowly going to build that up. So some areas still have this full color, whereas down here where it's been abused over time is going to be more likely to be rusted. The middle of the seat is going to be more likely to be pure rust, while the outside may be pure color. So I'm just going to work this up little bit by little bit until I like what I've got. So you can see how it's slowly building up bit by bit. And if you get to a point, you can spray it with another coat of Testors Dull Coat. And that'll save you if you want to remove some later. You can always wipe it off. And as I keep going, you're starting to see the actual green in some areas be the real color of the original piece before it started to rust. And you want that in certain areas, but not in all of them. Too much. Again, if you have any problems, you can just wipe it off. So I've taken this piece outside so you can see the color as it's building up. And it's up to you what parts are going to be the real color, if you want to brighten it up a little bit more, if you want a lot of the original color or a lot of the rust. I'm still going to build more green onto this, but I'm not sure how much. I'm just going to keep picking at it. And when I get to certain points, I'm going to let it dry and apply some Testors Dull Coat. And the same thing goes with the wheels. And remember, things like the outside of the wheel would have no paint on it because it would be used and it would have rubbed on the ground. Certain areas are going to have more paint, but we're just going to build that up and take it off as we go, slowly picking away at it. Now here's my wheel after one application. Then I added some more yellow as I'm building up. Now each system, each piece will be different, but as you can see, I'm letting some of the rust still sit through. And I'm going to build up some more yellow around here. And the pieces now that are showing rust, I'm going to leave that showing rust. Every rusted piece is different, so it's up to you. So you could even leave it like this with more rust or build it up. Now at this point, it is more like a faded paint. So the paint's old and it's started to break off, the rust is coming through, and now I'm going to build up some more color. So I've worked on this probably 4 layers, just picking away. And what I want to show is this color has been painted probably in the last 10, 15 years. It's fading. It's not fully rusted. It's a functional vehicle. Well, if you could call it a vehicle. And it is starting to rust. It's been sitting in a farm field and it is well used. And I think this is about where I'm going to finish. Maybe just do a little bit more and just work on yours until you get to the point where you like the look of yours. Then if you want, you can take some more rust colors and apply them on top if you need to. And one of the things I like is anywhere where metal is sitting on top, where water would drip, you're more likely to get the rust. So in between there, you're more likely to get rust. Underneath this, in between here, and under this is more likely to be rusty. Once you've got it to where you want it, make sure you seal it with some Testors Dull Coat and then finally a matte varnish or spray. You can always leave it until you've assembled it, do some more touch-ups before you put the varnish on, but you're going to need the Testors Dull Coat. So here is the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and leave any comments below. And I would love to see the pieces you paint up. And here are some more videos for you.